This week, we're going to take a look at the history of the price changes associated with the February supply-demand report from the USDA. We're going to turn our attention to Argentina and take a look at the latest weather trends there. We're going to come back and look at export trends here in the U.S. and wrap things up with a long-term review of December corn futures. Hi, this is Brian Basting with Advanced Trading. Let's talk about the corn market. We've moved into the month of February, and of course it's the middle of winter here in the U.S. However, in Argentina, corn is in the grain fill and pollination stage. Before we get to that, however, we're going to remind you that on Tuesday, February 10th, the USDA will release its latest supply-demand report at 11 o'clock Central Time. Let's take a look at the history of the price changes associated with that report. Now, what we did with this slide was go back and look at the last 15 years or so here and look at the change in March corn futures on the day that that report is released for the February supply-demand report. Notice some years there is not much change, but the last few years we've seen 5, 10, 15 cents change in comparison to the previous day. So there is room for volatility associated with this report. Key message, we strongly encourage you to work closely with your trusted risk management advisor to have your marketing positions in place prior to the release of the report on Tuesday, February 10th. Let's shift gears now to South America. In Argentina, the early planted corn is filling grain, and the later planted corn is actually pollinating. Let's take a look at where that corn is produced in Argentina. We got several key provinces here. We got Buenos Aires in the far south, Cordoba, Santa Fe in the central, and Santiago del Estero in the north. Argentina is expected to account for a significant percentage of the world's corn exports during March to June. That's why we're focusing on weather there at the moment. With that brief backdrop, let's take a look at the short-term trends. Our slides this week, as usual, are courtesy of T-Storm Weather. We're starting out here looking at the last 30 days, the month of January. This is a proxy for subsoil moisture across Argentina. You can see a lot of that area has been dry. In fact, about 66% of the corn in Argentina was drier than normal during the month of January. Let's shift gears now and look at T-storm, thunderstorm possibilities for later this week. Specifically looking at Wednesday through Friday this week, there is some rain moving into those key areas there. Heaviest amounts in that pink area, a ½ inch to 1.5 inches. Lighter amounts of a 1/4 inch to 3/4 inch in those green areas. Let's now look 1 to 2 weeks out here. 1 to 2 weeks out, the rain has moved further north here. In that green area, it's about 1.25 inches to 2.5 inches. Again, looking at more of that rain in the northern areas compared to this week. Let's wrap things up on the weather, looking at precip totals over the next 2 weeks. Okay, looking at the next 2 weeks here, approximately 64% of all corn is expected to receive near normal rainfall. So we'll keep a close eye on that for you moving forward. Let's shift gears now and focus on export trends here in the U.S. Now, year-to-date exports of corn are 49% higher than last year. However, we want to continue to remind you that the record U.S. production from last fall is overwhelming the record export pace. ATI is forecasting U.S. carryout to increase by nearly 56% in 25-26. Let's wrap things up this week looking at trends in December corn. December corn, as we tape here on Tuesday, is trading near $4.55 a bushel. Notice we moved into that crop insurance period of February here. We continue to strongly encourage you to work closely with your trusted risk management advisor to manage price movement and avoid price prediction. Now, if you'd like more information, please feel free to contact us at 309-664-2300. We'll put you in contact with one of our risk management consultants who'll be happy to visit with you at your convenience. And remember, we upload every Wednesday. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss an update. And make sure to join us at 1:30 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday, February 10th, for a detailed market analysis regarding the USDA report. Thanks a lot. Have a good week.